When it comes to its animated classics, Disney is never too shy on expanding the stories beyond just one movie. Granted, we've seen retellings take centre stage in recent years as Disney attempts to modernise their past movies for an audience more fitting to today. One of these more recent additions is the live-action Snow White that's currently set to be released next month. But unknown to many Disney fans, Disney intended on expanding the story of Snow White with a prequel movie set before the events of the animated classic. Join me today as we deep dive into the script and take a look at the original, cancelled Snow White prequel.
Snow White 2. The boys are back.
What do you mean back? I ain't never been nowhere. I've been headlining Disney on Ice for 35 years. I'm huge in France. People love me at Disneyland. My mother loves me. Maybe we'll get away with it.
Disney are no stranger to making prequels to its iconic movies. Some movies have spawned long franchises, whilst others haven't managed to expand beyond their original movie. Snow White and the Seven Dwarves is a beloved classic movie for the Walt Disney Company, serving as the very first full-length animated movie. It's quite a surprise, I believe, to the casual moviegoer that Disney hasn't attempted to expand this universe beyond that initial movie. After all, various other Disney princesses have received multiple outings, from Cinderella, The Little Mermaid, Tangled and so on. It's interesting to discover that Disney did intend on expanding the Snow White universe with a prequel that would have provided some much needed lore to the original movie. In the early 2000s, the Walt Disney Company was seeing a surge in popularity by some of its competitors. One of these was the Lord of the Rings franchise over at New Line Cinema, which went on to become a huge box office success. Disney originally had plans to create its own expanded universe of Snow White, with the intentions of delving into the mystical / fantasy aspects that made the Lord of the Rings so popular. Evan Spilotopoulos, I hope I'm pronouncing his name right, wrote a concept for Disney simply titled The Seven Dwarves, which was approved and immediately rushed into production. Let's take a deep dive into the key elements from the script so I can give you guys a clear narrative on what this story was and how it would have changed the original Snow White movie. The story was set to focus around the Seven Dwarves. It was a darker approach to the world than the original movie. The basis of the story followed Grumpy and Dopey as they ventured out on a quest to discover a location known as the Old Lands. Their journey there would have seen them bumping into some familiar faces, as the rest of the Seven Dwarves eventually would have joined the fold on the quest. An evil sorcerer was said to be ruling the lands and plotting against the dwarves in this version, serving as the antagonist of the story. Along their journey towards the Old Lands, the dwarves would have encountered a young female named Narcissa. They would have been quite taken by her beauty and demeanour, and would have asked her to accompany them on the journey to the Old Lands. Narcissa would have eventually revealed herself as being an evil sorceress. She'd have turned on the Seven Dwarves and used her own powers to capture the evil wizard and trap him within the magic mirror itself. It would have eventually been revealed that the woman would go on to become the evil queen, and the sorcerer trapped within the mirror was said to be her father. Dopey would have sacrificed himself to help the dwarves escape the clutches of Narcissa, but he would eventually be revived towards the end of the movie. It was also to be explained in this movie that Dopey lost his voice after witnessing the death of his mother, providing some depth to the character. A lot of this is interesting. It does actually add to the original movie. It also adds to why Grumpy may have been skeptical about accepting Snow White when she was found in their cottage, because they'd already been let down by somebody before, and a woman who was, to them, very beautiful, and so he was not interested. And it also explains the mass paranoia they all had when they believed somebody was inside their cottage. I feel this would have expanded the story so much and would have given such a perspective on that original story. The plans generated excitement at the Walt Disney Company, so much so an outline was drawn to make more sequels following this one. The intentions were to make a third movie that would take place after the events of the original. What's more, Disney felt strongly about the success of the project that they initially set out to create the movie using CGI. Production was officially underway, and some examples of that work exist today.
It says right here that you talk in our new movie. See? You got all the best lines, so you gots to talk. Car, Sarn it, you're not wrecking my big comeback. I'll get you to talk. Just read the card, you dopey dwarf. Yay, dopey! Give me a D! Yeah. This might be the problem here. You got a frog in your throat. Talk, damn ya! The rain in Spain falls mainly on the plain. Bernie, I'm a professional. I can't works like this. Say hello when you pick up the phone, you idiot. Oh, please, 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 please. Why, yes, Mr. Grumpy. I would love to speak in our new film. Fine, don't talk. See if I care.
This Christmas, the legendary magical magic returns. Snow White 2, the boys are back.
What do you mean back? I ain't never been nowhere. I've been headlining Disney on Ice for 35 years. I'm huge in France. People love me at Disneyland. My mother loves me. Maybe we'll get away with it.
It was going to be a monumental moment for Disney, transforming an existing IP into a franchise, but a faithful one that would only but enhance the story that came before. But sadly, it wasn't meant to be. Eventually, it was deemed by John Lasseter that this movie was simply too dark for Disney, who by this point was hoping to go into light-hearted fun movies, and following the backlashes from families over movies such as The Hunchback of Notre Dame, they wanted to avoid upsetting the parents of children. The movie was eventually scrapped, and thus the planned franchise was cancelled. Some of these backstory plans are allegedly set to be implemented into the live-action Snow White, but it often leaves me to wonder, would expanding an existing IP be successful today? After all, nostalgia is a winning factor, which has been proved time and time again, so why wouldn't this have worked? As a Disney fan, I don't know about you guys, but I actually enjoy when Disney gets dark with its movies. I find it fascinating observing how far they go with the darkness. It's one of the reasons why movies like Sleeping Beauty, Fantasia and Hunchback are some of my favourites. But what do you guys think? Would this have been successful? Would you have preferred a straight up remake? Or would you have preferred a spin-off or an expansion of the cartoons we had before? Share your opinions below and let's have a discussion about this. If you enjoyed this video, please don't forget to like and be sure to subscribe for more Disney content like this. Thank you all for watching, and we hope to see you back here again at yet another Disney channel.